Okay, welcome everybody. So uh, I'm going to probably have you folks, or I'm definitely going to have you folks, redo the predictor validity assignment next week after the midterm exam. The reason why is some students really went off in the wrong direction, and so the follow-up assignment really isn't going to work. And so I want to give everyone a chance to do this again and get a better grade or get another good grade on this assignment. Uh, so uh, so let me go over, and that's what I'd like to do: go over this assignment to make sure that you understand it. And I've uh, have the other video on what a meta-analysis is, so you have a better idea what that is. But that's really not important. What is important is good old table 6.5. Uh, this is a really important table to this entire class. IO psychologists, what we do is we basically do, uh, you know, uh, job performance, employment testing, that and fair hiring law stuff. Those are the two big things that IO psychologists do. So this is really important, and for you to be able to understand this is also very important. So that's why we're going to do it again. What this table shows us is that these are predictors of job performance, these things here, and these are their correlations with job performance. And we looked at job performance and how we measure that a couple weeks ago. And so what this is telling us is that in general, when you use cognitive ability tests to predict job performance, in general, the validity estimate is 0.53 or 0.48, so around 0.50. What's that telling us is that somebody comes in and they want to work for you, and you say, okay, could you take this test, and you give them a job ability test, and what happens is it tells you their score, and based on the score you hire them. If they have a high score, you hire them. If they have a low score, they don't. And then you check to see 6 months later how well they did in terms of job performance. And the people who we hired with a cognitive ability test, we're able to predict their success on the job much better than the people we hired with an unstructured interview. That is, these are correlation coefficients. So when you use unstructured interviews to interview people for a job and hire them based on the interviews, the correlation or the relationship between that and job performance is only 0.2, which is low on that rubrics I've given you about Pearson's correlations. So that's amazing, because this table is telling us what tests that we should use and what tests we should avoid in terms of hiring people. And so that's really amazing, and that's one of the powers of IO psychology, to be able to do that. And so I want you to be able to really understand how to look up and find information about that. And this table just estimates it, but let's say that we talk about some other predictor that's not on this table. I would like you to have the ability to go to the library, look up something, and tell me what the validity or the correlation between the predictor and the criteria, which is, of course, job performance is. So that's what this assignment is about. I want you to take one of these concepts here, one of these predictors, and run with it. Find a new article, a new meta-analysis that looks at the results of many studies looking at the correlation between emotional intelligence and job performance. And so let's use that as a jumping off point. What you should do then is go back over to your friend Blackboard and go to libraries and databases. And go down to PsycInfo. And so I'm going to be looking for, let's see, it will be a microphone in front of my keyboard so you can hear me, but now I can't type. Emotional intelligence. I'm going to put that in quotes so EBSCO recognizes that I just want to, and no thanks, I don't want to chat with a librarian. And then what else should I put? I should put and, so I'm looking for articles that have emotional intelligence and job performance, because that's the correlation we're looking at. And then finally, this assignment requires meta-analyses. So I'm going to go down to methodology here and choose meta-analysis and click OK. So I have 10 studies here. 2021, Chow Mao, Emotional Intelligence and Job Performance in the Hospitality Industry, a meta-analytic review. That sounds pretty much what we're looking for. So let's click that. But even though that sounds pretty much like what we're looking for, we're going to be careful about this. So I want to see a copy of the article, find it at CUNY. And out here it is. Yep. And I can get the full text. We seem to have encountered a problem. Thank you. Full text. Oh, here we go. All right, so the authors are marketing, entrepreneur, management. This seems like a meta-analysis. It says a meta-analytic review. Hospitality workers are emotional labor workers because they must display appropriate emotions. EI helps employees regulate their emotions. So we're presenting this to clarify the mixed findings and to examine if EI can improve hospitality workers' job and performance. So this does sound like this is a meta-analysis on validating EI, and as whether or not it predicts job performance. So yeah, this is a study that we could use. So I'm going to stop here because I don't want to really do this, without preparation. So I'm going to switch over to something else because you may have noticed, I need to go back. May have noticed that I used Bertua as an example. And so let me do that. Bertua 2005. So let me go search. See what happens. This is another meta-analysis they did on general mental ability. And here's the one that I gave an example. So let's open up the PDF, take a look at it. Okay, so Journal of Occupational Organizational Psychology, that sounds good. Cognitive ability tests, a UK meta-analysis. A meta-analysis on the ability of tests of general mental ability and specific cognitive abilities for predicting job performance. That sounds like exactly what we want. So now, I need to open up my notes, and here are the things, the questions for the assignment. And so I'm going to be taking notes in here and answering the questions. Number one, not going to answer for you because, folks, you need to learn what an APA style reference citation is. And I've shown you many, and you can find them, and you should have been taught that in English 125, so make sure that you find that out. That's on you. So now I need to describe the predictor being validated, describe the specific tests. So the predictor, we know, are tests of general mental ability and specific abilities. I know that because it's right there in the abstract of the article. But specifics, so we probably need to find that. And so going over the uh, literature review, which is really not important to us because we're more concerned about the results of this experiment. And procedure, once we have the blah, 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 blah. Nope. Okay, so here we go. This table, and tables summarize information, and that's what they're doing right now. I would guess from this table, the specific tests are, one is for GMA, and then we have verbal, perceptual, and spatial. And then I'm going to poke around. If we go back to database, how they identified sources in their literature. Here's the section in the method section. First, these involve conducting an exhausting search of potential studies. Firstly, that's what we want. Firstly, search conducting PsycInfo, BDIS, databases. Second, a manual article by article search. Oh, that must have been wonderful. And third, test manuals and books, well-known researchers. And is that it? Finally, articles found from other means. All right, so that's where they searched. That's important because some meta-analyses fail because they don't search the literature that well. This certainly looks very painstaking with the emphasis on pain. Measure used for the criterion measure. This should be job performance. So let's see if we can find that classification of jobs, compilation of validity distributions. The next stage, validity distribution. What's that? The artifactual errors, the current investigation did range restriction and predictor scores, predictor and credibility. Okay, so the first series of meta-analyses predicted that on job performance and training success. Occupations included in the analysis. So you see this assignment is not really that technical, but it's just boring going through this. Occupations, I think I saw that a minute ago. Classification of jobs into occupational categories. Oh, And I think to help us out, there's a table there. Excuse me. So I could say uh, for job performance and for training success, uh, we would have studies. That is, there was 5 studies for clerical workers, 5 studies for engineers, 4 for professionals. Studies on clerical, ENGIN, engineer, job categories. And then finally to the important thing, the validity estimate. That is, what is the relationship they're going to find between, in this case, these different mental tests and job performance. And well, here we're stuck on meta-analysis results for GMA tests by occupation, and that is one thing, but we want the total, so let's go up a little bit more. Meta results for training. Nope, we're not going to look at training. Job performance. Here we go. So R is the mean observed validity. That is what we're looking for. And so we have the validity estimate for general mental ability is 0.22. Verbal is 0.17, and then go down and list them all. And then probably whenever I ask you to give me a correlation, I would like you to interpret it in that, what about their sizes? Well, as we can see, they run from the highest is a R of 0.23 for, where am I? Perceptual ability. Which is 0.23 is between a low and moderate correlation to a low, to the lowest of 0.15, R equals 0.15 for spatial ability, ability, which is a low population size. And so that is going through and doing an example of the results. So, hope you pull out the key thing, which is what I want is for you to understand what this table means and why it's so important, and then have another shot at the assignment next week. Okay, take care, and I'll see you online. Bye-bye.